Hello my dear students, welcome all of you to my class. Today we will continue with the chapter 2 economics, that is sectors of the Indian economy. In previous video we have discussed about the sectors based upon economic activities. In today's class we are going to talk about the sectors in terms of organization and sectors in terms of ownership. Now the question is, where are most of the people employed? More than half of the workers in the country are working in the primary sector, mainly in agriculture, producing only a quarter of the GDP. In contrast to this, the secondary and tertiary sector produce three-fourths of the produced, whereas they employ less than half of the people. So why does primary sector still continue to employ maximum number of people? According to 2010 to 11 GDP, the service sector is rising as dominant sector. It is due to increasing tertiary activities like banking, stock market, exports. Primary sector also increased quantitatively, that shows it can support the population, and obviously it has provided a strong base. The question is, why does primary sector still continue to employ maximum number of people? But before searching the solution for this question, we have to discuss some important terms like employment and unemployment. So what is employment? Employment is an activity from which a person earns the means of living, that is income in cash or in hand. I am going to repeat. Employment is an activity from which a person earns the means of living, that is in income, in cash or in hand. Then what is unemployment? When people don't get a job according to their eligibility is called unemployment. I am going to repeat, when people do not get job according to their eligibility or potentiality is called unemployment. There are two types of unemployment. First one, under unemployment or disguised unemployment. Second one, seasonal unemployment. So question is, what is the meaning of under unemployment? This is a kind of situation where people are apparently working, but all of them are made to work less than their potential. Okay, so this is the situation, and this situation is known as disguised unemployment. This kind of underemployment is hidden in contrast to someone who does not have a job and is clearly visible as unemployment. For example, there are thousands of casual workers in the service sectors in urban areas who search for daily employment. Many of them don't find work every day. They may spend whole day but earn very little. They are doing this work. Okay, they are doing this work because they do not have better opportunities. Under unemployment or disguised unemployment means is a kind of situation where people are apparently working. देख के लगेगा सारे people working है, but actually they are doing the work less than their capability. ओके, सो एग्जाम्पल क्या लेते हैं, कोई भी विलेज पे एक फार्मर का जो पैडी फील्ड है, सोच लो पैडी फील्ड है जहाँ पे वो फार्मर अकेले काम करके 1 टन प्रोडक्शन देता है. ओके, पर ईयर वो 1 टन प्रोडक्शन वो फार्मर जो है राइस या पैडी फील्ड से ले आता है. बट उनके साथ उनका 5 बेटे भी काम कर रहा है रिसेंट, तो तभी भी उनका 1 टन प्रोडक्शन ही आ रहा है. तो बिफोर या आफ्टर प्रोडक्शन में कोई भी फ्लक्चुएशन नहीं है. इट इज़ अ काइंड ऑफ सिचुएशन where we can apply the under unemployment theory. Seasonal unemployment, getting job for particular seasons or period of the year and remain unemployment for the rest of the period is called seasonal unemployment. Example, small landowners who work only for the rainy seasons. Now we can search the solution for the question, why does primary sector still continue to employ? Although the share of the primary sector in GDP of the country is just 20%, but after 65 years of independence, it still employs more than 50% of the population. The secondary and tertiary sectors have not created enough jobs to enable a substantial number of people to migrate from agriculture to these sectors. The employment in industrial sector went up only by 3 times. The employment in service sector only went up by 5 times. Also, we can see the existence of underemployment and disguised unemployment in primary sector. Primary sector employs more people in agriculture than required. Even if few people are pulled out, the production will not fall. In this sector, people appear to work, but they are working less than their potential and so are not fully employed. Therefore, there exists underemployment and disguised unemployment, due to which the contribution of primary sector to GDP is less, even though it employs more number of people. Then the question is how to create more employment. Government can create more employment opportunities by providing better infrastructures such as roads, dams, canals. This can be enhanced by providing services like banks, transport and communication, by providing technical and institutional measures, so technical facilities like irrigation, availability of hybrid seeds, awareness about modern techniques of agriculture. Institutional support like market, transportation, storage facility and other processing unit in the nearby suburban area. Set up industries that process vegetables and agricultural products like potatoes, rice, wheat, tomato, fruits which can be sold in outside markets. Emphasis on education and training center. Obviously, government can tackle this problem to identify, promote and locate industries and services in semi-rural areas. An initiative to create more employment. National Rural Employment Guarantee Act was formulated in 2005 and launched by Prime Minister on 2nd February 2006. Later on, its name changed to Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. Okay, the main features of the schemes are: the central government in India recently made a new law implementing the right to work in 625 districts of India. All those who are able to and are in need of work have been guaranteed 100 days of employment in a year by the government. If the government fails in its duty, okay, I'm going to repeat, if the government fails in its duty to provide employment, it will give unemployment allowances to the people. The types of work that would help in future to increase the production from land will be given preference under this act. Our next topic is classification of economic activities based on the condition of work or organization. So under this concept we are having two categories of economic activities. First one, organized sector, and second one, unorganized sector. So what do you mean by organized sector? The sector which carries out all activity through a system and follows government regulation. I'm going to repeat: the sector which carries out all activity through a system and follows government regulation. The workers in this sector have job security. The workers benefit from employers like paid leave, PF, gratuity, medical benefits. Then the question is, what is the meaning of unorganized sector? The sector that evades most of the law and is outside the government control. Workers have no job security. There is no provision for overtime, paid holidays or leave due to sickness. Now this is a chart of comparison between organized sector and unorganized sector. Workers have job security in organized sector. Unorganized sector workers do not have job security. Workers get regular monthly salary in organized sector, and unorganized sector workers get daily wages. Rules and regulation are followed here in organized sector. Rules and regulation are not followed here in unorganized sector. Workers get benefits like provident fund, paid leave and medical benefits. Workers do not get any such benefits. Working hours are fixed here, means in organized sector working hours are not fixed here. Sometimes workers work for 10 to 12 hours straight. It is called the organized sector because it has some formal process and procedure. And unorganized sector, there are not formal process and procedure here. Working conditions are favorable in organized sector, but working conditions are not favorable in unorganized sector. Dear students, this is another chart of distinction between organized sector and unorganized sector, or comparison between organized sector and unorganized sector. So please write down a compact table for comparison between organized sector and unorganized sector in your copy. Why should we protect workers in the unorganized sector? In rural area, the scenario is the organized sector mostly comprise of landless agriculture laborers, small and marginal farmers, and artisans such as weavers, blacksmiths, carpenters, and goldsmiths. Nearly 80% of rural households in India are in small and marginal farmer category. These farmers need to be supported through adequate facility of timely delivery of seeds, agriculture inputs, credit, storage facilities, and marketing outlet. In the urban areas, unorganized sector comprises mainly of workers in small-scale industry, casual workers in construction, trade and transport, and those who work as street vendors, head load workers, garment makers, rag pickers. Okay, small-scale industry also needs government support. The casual workers in both rural and urban areas need to be protected. We also find that the majority of workers from scheduled castes, tribes, and backward communities find themselves in the unorganized sector. Besides getting the irregular and low paid work, these workers also face social discrimination. Protection and support to the unorganized sector workers is the necessary for both economic and social development. Our next topic is classification of economic activities based on the ownership, or in terms of ownership. So we are having two sector, okay, under this concept. So first one, public sector. It is a sector that is owned, controlled and managed by the government. Activities in the government sector are guided by the motive of social welfare and not to earn the profit. Example क्या है? Railways and post office. Private sector. In the private sector, ownership of production unit is the hands of private individuals. Activities in the private sector are mainly guided by the motive to earn profit. Example, Tisco and RIL. Dear children, one assignment is there for you. You have to write down two questions. First one, comparison between public sector and private sector, and second one, role of public or government sector. So dear children, that's the end of today's session. We will meet in our next class with new topics. Till then, bye. Take care, be safe and happy learning.